tell me to shut up. Well, good evening, everybody, and thanks for coming in. Hope you're all safe and well. And welcome. Tonight we have back in for a wee catch up and a wee chat about an upcoming investigation. We have Spig, Scottish Paranormal Investigations Unit. No. I got it right, didn't I?
Aye.
Group.
Maybe me money get you clap because you actually got it right.
I right the first time you were on, I rhymed it right after it was.
You got it perfect the first time.
I was near enough anyway. He's a Scottish. That's near enough.
Aye, that's the main
Well,
thing.
I'm partly Mexican. The folks say, "Oh, you're half Mexican." So
right. I'll not ask you about that one.
it's all right, gringo.
All right. Yeah. I don't need it, but whatever. So we get Rigger, who's part Mexican, and we get David, who's all Scottish.
Aye.
Andre.
Yes.
And Laura.
You nearly forgot her name there, didn't you?
I'm on fire tonight with David stuff. Hey, Andy, buddy.
Hello.
Getting your name.
Aye, so tonight we're going to just a wee catch up. I watched Spig's live last night. If you've not watched it, go back and watch it. I'm saying Spig because it's easy. I can't mess that up.
What's the actual pod?
Scottish Paranormal Investigation Group.
Okay.
Right. Hi, Stan, buddy.
Eventually.
And Karen's here as well. Evening, Karen, though. So, if you've not watched it live for last night, Paranormal Hangovers, give it a wee watch because it was really, really interesting about an investigation they done. Well, I'll let the guys tell you about it. Obviously, not getting away too much.
So basically, a paranormal hangover. We did make it every Sunday, but we've changed it now to a Monday. The reason being Sunday was kind of coming in for an investigation at 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and then up early to try and run through EVPs and footage and screen record things and whatnot. So we decided to make it a Monday now. But so basically, it's us just discussing a previous investigation. So we'll usually investigate on a Saturday, and then we've done the paranormal hangover group where we'll just be sitting discussing how our investigation went on personal experiences as a collective, show some footage, EVPs. Because at the start I was jotting everything down and posting it on the group, and it was a pain because I was there for ages trying to remember things and get through things. And with all that, we've just got this wee hangover group where we'll just have a wee chit chat, a laugh, and discuss investigation, also upcoming stuff, just wee updates. But it only stays on that group. We don't share it. It's just it stays on that group.
It's a good idea. I'm just going to quickly jump to this comment for Andy Murphy. Andy and Kirsty Murphy, they're on the group. They're over in America currently, but they keep adding letters onto their group title, and I can never remember the name of their group. So
UK Ghostbusters Paranormal.
I was just going to answer that because that's Andy just trying to smart. I think
Is that
UK Ghostbusters Paranormal, but they keep adding letters on, and I can never remember other names. I think I should just be up tonight. It's been a long day. I've been talking to folk all day, do you know what I mean? And your head just gets into meltdown. But no, it's a good idea with the hangovers bit to go over. We've done it once, I think. With Cat Armstrong after we've done that application with him. We've done a wee about a week after the back to America. But I really enjoyed last night live some of the evidence you captured.
It's a really interesting place, Scott.
Yes.
Especially
Very
when
interesting.
Rigger's name came out.
Yeah.
Every time we go there, usually it's my name comes out or David's. We were there a fortnight ago, and one of the EVPs, again, it was a male spirit that we were talking about last night. It's near enough the end. It said, "David, Rigger, get to fuck." That's what it says. Aye, so I like getting and wind them up. So I just want that reaction where we can capture it. You know, just.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are against it, like provoking them, and I don't respect the spirit in any way, but I like to kind of provoke, try and get them out your shell a bit. try and get him to throw something, because we know that he's capable of moving. He moved. There
Oh,
was a bench. There was a bench. He moved. That was the very first time I was there. A bench
Yeah.
moved. The K2. I think David, you posted up on the collective page.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Like
with the
6
K2.
minutes, 52, it gets knocked over.
But as you said, David, if you sit and listen to earphones in, you can actually hear the bench
Yeah,
down the
downstairs.
stairs.
Yeah.
When it moved, you can hear it echoing through.
Aye.
So we had the
Aye.
K2 over at Caldwell.
Yeah.
We had the note to we were, I found it was as soon as we were starting to get responses, that the K2 just went dink.
Yeah.
Don't know what kind of atmospheres in the place? You know, you go to all different locations, they've all got kind of different feelings, atmospheres. What kind of atmosphere do you get when you walk in there?
I'll let you take us away, David, because obviously you're in it during the day and all that.
Yeah. You just get that feeling, you know, you're getting watched straight away. And even when you enter at night, I feel as if you're getting follied up the stairs. You just get that feeling, you know for a fact that there's somebody watching you.
It's again when we were there the other night. Every so often you would get a wee burst of cold air you would walk through.
Aye.
Now it's roasting in that place, like it's boiling. But every so often you just get a wee burst of air that you walk through and then you go back and it's away. It's strange. You might get 6 wee bursts of air as you're walking down the hallway. You might get nothing, and then you go to a different area in a location, and you might get a burst there, and then you go to somewhere else and you get that wee burst there. So that's like it feels like you're getting cold in its way. Definitely, I think it's that male spirit.
Yeah. Or you'll hear a voice.
Oh, aye. It's mental. Like you see what we're talking now. That's what you hear. You hear people talking inside it.
See, that's what I was going to say about say you go to some locations, we've had it, I know. The place we're going to the weekend, it feels like a kind of dominant male there as well. But some of these locations you get a spirit who tries to control everything. Caldwell was the same. There was a woman. We felt, we called her. And there was a man, but I think the woman, we called her the matron. We nicknamed her the matron because she had that kind of feel about her, You just think it's the male that's trying to kind of keep everybody else in check.
Yeah.
Funny saying that, we picked that up the last time over there. I felt it was a male. That he was a stronger presence, and he liked to be in control of the other spirits. He would give them a wee leeway or whatnot. Aye.
We got a female as too, asking who's there.
Who's there? The video you sent to Scott last night was interesting.
Yeah.
With the full sentence, and it was all the same. But it was definitely a female, aye.
You see, that was your first investigation there, and we were getting quite a bit on the K2 as well, and it was really, really weird because I was hearing one thing and the team heard another thing. But I'll let the lassies tell you about the other thing because I never heard what they were hearing.
We were hearing a kind of, it was as if somebody kept going, but it was getting like, it started to act like really, as if it was like really, really far away. And then as time went on, it was getting closer and closer until eventually it sounded like it was right next to me. And then I take a flurry.
You kind of freaked out a bit. But the thing that was weird was I was the only one that heard this woman.
Yeah.
The rest of the team heard the breathing, but the two of them happened at the exact same time. So the team all reacted. So I thought they were reacting to this woman. And vice versa. It wasn't until later on that they says, no, we never heard the woman. I said, no, she was right. I felt as if she was right there. And of course, we listened to Jennifer for our American team. Listened to we were convinced it was some kind of Latin or something, but even with the headphones, we over and over, and it was Jim Martin, the Spirit Realm Network, who actually done a live version, and he broke it down on the live. And he says the woman's asking, "Is your light better now?" And he says, "Look at your footage." He says, just before the voice, you move the meter, and it goes goes to red. And
Aye.
then you move it again and it goes to red. And then she says, is your light better now? And she says, you can tell that's no through the app.
Aye.
No.
Aye, 'cause that's what I says last night, and through Messenger was like very. I think maybe once, once we've really had like a sentence coming through that app, and
Mhm.
it blew your mind because you know yourself, it's just all mumble jumble. You'll get the odd word that come through or whatever, but I think we've only ever had a sentence coming through once. But
Yeah.
it wasn't like that because that was dead clear. It was all the same level. You know, it was the same pitch all the way through, and it was the same voice. It was 100% a female.
Mhm.
She seemed to, I mean, you know the place, I'm not going to name the location, but you know the location. It is quite big.
Mhm.
Like 280 acres or something. It is quite massive. And we were doing the bottom end beside the swings, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we picked her up down there as well. She seemed to, it might sound nuts to anybody listening, but she seemed to follow us about. Because we got her in the main house and then we'd go her down at the swings. And then we'd get her back up at the main house. It was as if wherever we went, she was going.
My.
And it was always the same voice, the same letter, you know, the exact same voice.
Mhm.
Who she was, we don't know. We have
Aye.
no
Look,
idea.
what if it was her that was watching us? Mind rigger. What if it was a female that was watching us that kept kicking out?
Are you talking about the place we're going to on Saturday?
Uh-huh.
Aye, that's right. That was strange. We
Right?
done the wee the I don't know if you've done it, but we usually try and do a wee kind of strobe flash, and get some screenshots or whatnot. But when we done it at this location we were going on Saturday, the area where we're at, I'll show you when we're there, but you're at the side of the building, and when it was flashing, it looked as if somebody was like popping
Looking
out
at
of the corner there. So I walked up there and there's nothing. I thought maybe with the flash it's maybe lighting up something that's kind of giving that effect that something is popping in it. But there was absolutely nothing there. Nothing. When I walked up to it, you never seen it. But when I left and came back, you seen it, and it definitely looked like somebody was popping into the corner looking at us.
I mean,
But again, we would have liked to stay there longer, but it was like we left
freezing.
quite early, and it was freezing. It was freezing cold, but
I that night we went with Cat, you ended up back in the motor
Oh, it was so
Aye.
because it
cold.
was getting too cold.
Yeah.
But it is a really good location. We've been there maybe 5-6 times. I think it was you that seen somebody
Aye,
poking out up the back end.
I saw a guy twice right up the back. Kind of hard to describe it. Right up the back where the bench is. If you skim what I'm talking about, there's a bench right up at the back that's before the field. Does that make
was
sense?
it?
That, is
I don't
that
even
where
know.
is that where there's a bit kind of caged in?
Aye, exactly there, David. Aye. Well, just along for that to the right.
Uh-huh.
Always.
Oh, I know, yeah.
Aye, twice I've saw a guy
Mhm.
standing there. It's just like a shadow of a guy, and he's wearing a black
Mhm.
hat.
Did you know?
Mhm.
Twice I've saw that.
Yeah. Wow.
It doesn't give you a creepy feeling in it. It's just where he's watching.
No,
Mhm.
Aye, that's twice I've saw that.
Oh, no, I don't like it that bit.
Aye, you don't like that bit, but
I sure it is.
twice.
But the last time we were there, when we were up the back, there was a couple of things that we went into the fence stop bit, which is saying David, and
Yeah.
the K2 meter on the monument story, you know, the headstone, whatever it is. And I had the feeling that the right hand corner, just on the other side of the fence, there was somebody standing watching, and Kat said the same thing. She says there's something or someone to the right. And so I said, it says, if you're standing beside me, beside the fence, can you make that box light up? I don't call it a device, you know, I know a lot of teams do, but I'm the kind of mindset that if you've got a spirit who's 200-300 years old, they're not going to know what the device is. So, you know, but if you say a black box They're going to know. So I says, can you make that box go light up? And it went off. And I said, well, can you do that again for me? And it went off again on demand.
Mhm.
But when we were up the back, we could feel there was a male spirit, and he was going up and down as if he was trying to split us up. Because there was 4 years, there was Cat, Will, Craig, and myself, so there was 4 years there. But we kept wanting to go in different directions. You know, when you're out and you feel, you know, something wants you to go one way, but we felt like he was trying to kind of split us up.
Try and isolate the females.
That's an interesting way.
I see we never thought of that.
Aye.
Because
Interesting.
Cap is there. And I know a lot of people might think, oh, you're talking crap, you know. But it's just that feeling you get. You guys know what I'm
Yeah.
talking
Yeah,
Yep.
definitely.
about. You get that kind of feeling.
No, I don't
Mhm.
know.
You usually get off. You're away.
I'm a chicken.
But I felt in the middle section, there was a few spirits, but they weren't bothering about us. You know, it's as if they were just wandering about and just minding their own business. Does that make sense?
See, when we were there, we've got the demon doll, but I trained into our M pod, so to speak. And the way it's done is the more pressure you put on it, the higher the pitch will go and the more the lights will come on. That's the only time at that location was the only time that I ever went. It's no went ever since. At that location it went, but which I like because it's hard to manipulate. Like some REM pods not too sensitive, so you kind of go half a foot away from them or a foot away from them and they're going off. Where for this you need to actually physically press down on it, some sort of pressure on it. No hard, but just some sort of pressure. But that's the only time I ever went was at that location we're going to on Saturday.
And we got it in an EVP, mind.
Mm-hmm.
It says I pressed it. It says it pressed.
Yep.
It's a location that never fails to give you something. You know, I mean, that investigation we done, we get the word, what was it, Red and Agnes. The name Agnes came through, and then the word Red came through.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it was Craig Warren's husband. He found a headstone.
No, it was me and William.
Was it you and William?
Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah, it was
They
me and
were.
William. Me and William just went a walk after these specific words come through, and we just happened to stumble upon a grave, and as we moved the bush to the side, it was actually Agnes in red on this gravestone, and it was just wow. You couldn't make that up. Like we were, being pointed in that direction to find that. It was just weird. It seemed to collaborate with what was going through. So
Into the creepy bit.
into the
I gave it a wee quick check the weather. Obviously, it could still a bit away, but it can change. Obviously, but it's to be clear anyway. So it's.
I know that's what's held us back. You know, a few weeks. You know, we're planning to go out, and then you get up in the morning, and you know it's pouring with rain.
Aye. It happened. We went to a location down South Ayrshire way. I can't remember the name of the location. And there wasn't even any point in going now because it's all bricked up and whatnot. But we were only looking at what we had. There was slight shelter that we got, but the rain was too cool, and we were inside, but we were dry, and we were packing up. My case with my equipment in it was soaking wet, absolutely soaking wet. And some of my equipment was in it. I managed to save the equipment, but things like that, you know, because some equipment's not cheap. But I was away home, took out and it dried off. But there's nothing worse putting it somewhere and your equipment's getting wet or whatnot, or your phone or whatever. Or things like that, you know what I mean? Glasses, everything else.
Last year at Halloween, we planned to go to Halloween last year.
Sorry.
With
Just remembering Halloween. Carry on.
Last year Halloween we planned to go. There was the Friday. We come on at Halloween's. I don't know the day before. So it's weird. It's not on the proper day, but all week it had been raining, and so you're thinking, oh, come Friday we're not going anywhere because the location we were going to do in this castle, and the Friday we got up and it was dry. So we went and walked up to this location, which took us a good half hour, 40 minutes, something like that.
Something like that.
We go about 10 minutes in and it started peeing down. And
Hate that.
with the abandoned ship,
Aye.
and it's so annoying, it's so annoying and frustrating, and there's nothing you can do because the water's just pouring in.
And it's so that it's gone to these locations where there is shelter, but getting to you're soaking wet, but you know your equipment's dry. And even just investigating, although you're in where there's no rain, you're already wet and you're freezing cold, especially when it's Halloween time or whatnot, but you're freezing cold and all that. There's a time we went to a farm and it was freezing, we were trying to do the blind Ouija, and honest to God, I couldn't keep my horn steady because it was just constantly shaking. But David was prepared, he had the long johns and all that on, gloves and all that. And I'm like, trying to keep this planchette steady like that.
What's the coldest one we've ever done? I
Dunua.
don't really feel the cold, it's
Mind that night at Dunua. It was
Oh, the ones
absolutely
in the blue.
aye. And I had my thermal blanket still freezing.
Well, me too.
That's the weird thing. This is going to sound totally nuts, but I've noticed a few times the place we're going on Saturday, it doesn't matter what the weather is, but the grass is always soaking, even during the summer.
Aye.
Every time I went, the grass is. I don't know why I've noticed that we come out and your trainers are all wet, and it's maybe not raining days.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why my shoes?
Must be where it's situated.
Yeah, because when we went, the grass was quite long and all.
Aye.
So it was. But the first time I went, it was short. Like, you could tell it gets maintained some way.
Aye, it is looked after.
Wasn't it the last time we were there?
Aye, well, we were there on the Friday and the grass was long. We were back a couple of days later because Will and Kat had left a motion sensor. So Will had mailed me and asked me if I could do and get it, but we were doing the grass was all cut. It is it's a great location, but it really is. We've been about 5-6 times, as I say, and we've never came away disappointed.
Well, thing is, we obviously this location coming up on Saturday, but next also we'll have a chat about going out the next time on Saturday, but we'll pick the location this time for the next time. That's something bad. We've got some good locations that we would like to take you to anyway. Not tell you much about it, just basically go in into the unknown, so to speak. But it wouldn't surprise me if we get tons of activity. There is a location that you do, abandoned location that you do always get activity. Always.
No.
As long as one's no Reynolds Castle.
No.
No.
Because
No.
I've done that walk last year.
You couldn't have walked.
I wouldn't go back to that one for the walk because I'm a lazy bastard.
The only good thing that night was mind. We got something running out the room.
Aye. That's
heavy footsteps.
Aye. And you seen what was it you seen there? Was it a light? Remember it was at the door? It was at the
In
doorway.
the other room. Aye, it was in the room.
It was pulsating in and out.
Mhm.
But usually every time I've been we went and it was absolutely torrential rain, and put it away there was young ones still
Aye,
walking.
that's right.
Every time I've been there's been young ones, not any hassle, but it just throws the whole investigation off. Because if you go there, you don't want to start bringing out equipment, you want to wait until they leave or whatever. You can be waiting an hour or whatever. Or you go ahead and do it, and you can hear them in the distance. And if you're trying to run EVPs and whatnot, but I think it's definitely a location where all the young ones go. And I don't know how, because it's a pain in the arse to walk. I don't know why you'd want to walk or about to sit and drink and listen to music.
I went with Robbie Crossing and Lou Haddle, and Robbie says to me, when we parked the motor, he says it's about a 10-minute walk. 10-minute walk, aye. And they didn't say it was all uphill like that,
Aye.
you know. And then you add the other 20, 30 minutes on to that 10 minutes,
Aye.
you know. And I kept saying,
It
I
must
said,
be listen.
are you sure we're no lost? No, it's always just up there, isn't it? It's
Aye.
just up there.
Aye. 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. But even walking back, it's downhill, but it's still a pain.
Yeah.
It's still a pain to walk. It's just a horrible walk. And if you're carting another equipment or whatever, it's nah.
In rain.
There isn't really much to investigate in it as well. Like, there is bits that's sheltered in reasonable sized bits, but it's not really, you can't really investigate it all. Maybe the ground or about it, but
Your evidence would be too contaminated.
aye.
It's too open.
We done the courtyard bit, but obviously it used to be the old courtyard, and I felt we kept hearing noises all in about us going round and round. If somebody was running, just round the outside, there was nobody there, physically there was nobody there. But we kept getting these, and then it seemed to be getting closer and closer, and that's when Robbie decided to go at night. Said, all right, we're going to pack up, we're going to go.
Mm-hmm.
I would have preferred to stay.
Aye.
If whatever this was getting nearer and nearer, then you want to come right up to you.
Aye.
Definitely.
Oh, definitely. There's times yourself when you're finished with investigation. I always believe, me and David, we always say it, we always believe that when the spirits have had enough. It's when they've went right, just give a break. So you kind of get that feeling that they just it, and then we'll pack up and leave. But if we would ever start packing up and leaving, then we'd get really good activity again. We would go straight back into it. Like if something had moved or whatnot, we would go straight back into it. If it was 4 in the morning, where our eyes were hanging out our head, we would still. That's what you're there for. You're trying to obviously communicate the best way that you can. Try and capture solid evidence.
Right, I mean, you're right. You do get that feeling with it. I'm not kind of speak for the lasses, but if you're at a location and you might not be getting loads, you might be getting some K2 or whatever, cap or whatever, and then you feel a change in the atmosphere.
Aye.
It's
Yeah.
just kind of flat.
Aye.
Yep. You had that Alloway Kirk.
Aye.
It was just, we were getting stuff, and then it was just
Nothing. I
Flat.
can't with the necrophonic starts just talking absolute gibberish, then it's just typing.
I mean, at the end of the day, spirit, as we always say, they were people once, and
Right.
everybody was fed up.
Aye.
Everybody comes
can't
to
force it.
you think,
Well, that's the thing as well. Like, going to these abandoned locations, you don't know what team or who's been there an hour before you've arrived. They've maybe been there and investigated the place, and then the spirits have used basically all their energy. There's like, here come more people for a chat. I can't be bothered with this or whatever. Or you go to an abandoned location that is highly active, like you've been before, say, and then you go and there's maybe young ones or whatever sitting drinking, or they're just leaving as you get there. But I'm a strong believer that definitely can disturb the spirits. Maybe they want to just hide out the way. They've been disturbed in doing the thing that they do or whatever. But you don't know who's been there before or how much energy spirits have used before you get there. But that's what comes with it. And like, even just the enjoyment going to locations, and if you don't get it, it's just the enjoyment going and just thinking, what if, what if we get this? What? Obviously, we use that yellow ball that never went, that I stole off the way in. And it's like, what if this is a location that the yellow ball goes? And it doesn't go, but on the way back, we're still like, it's a good location. We don't really go much, but we'll go back again.
Of course.
We've done that. We went, and as you say, Rigger, and I've said that, we've said this in a few lives, that you can sit for, 3 hours and
Get nothing.
Get nothing, but you don't know you're going to get. How can I explain? You don't know you're going to get nothing.
No.
Sitting there, and you're maybe watching the cat ball, you're watching the K2, whatever, or you're listening, and you think, you know, before you realise it, 3 years have passed, but you're still had a good night.
Because you're always just waiting. You're always just waiting for something to happen. And that's what comes as well. I just love that feeling of just waiting.
Yeah.
And even what we were talking about last night, David, on the Paranormal Hangover, like, it gets to the stage where it's like, it's just the ball that's going. You know, it's just the balls lit up because you're used to seeing it.
Yeah.
But still, my mind's blown because there's no reason why that ball should be lit up. And obviously, now we put a glass through the ball, and we've had the ball going in the glass.
Yeah.
And you're like, how? You know, like, we'll go and jump next to whatever vibration that might cause it to go, but we'll try and test all that, we'll try and debunk it, and you're like, there's no reason why that ball should be lit up. But it shouldn't. But look, the footage you put up last night with the REM pod, I put the ball on top of the REM pod. It was longer, but I think I'm going to try and put it on this. But I put the ball on top of the REM pod, and then the ball started flashing. All right, Stephen. Aye, guys, this is Stephen. He's a new member of the Spig team.
All right.
Stephen, welcome along, buddy. This is Sarah and this is Laura.
Hiya.
Do you know what I've just noticed? We've all got glasses on apart from Laura.
Aye, and 3 are baldy.
Why there's 3 balls on the panel? You can't say that anymore, actually, because seemingly that's sexual harassment. That's illegal.
All right.
In the
What?
workplace.
That's ridiculous.
It's not like every day, it's only in the workplace. So say for instance you went into your work tomorrow, right? And somebody called you a wee baldy. Right? You could get them done with harassment. But it's not like everyday life.
So you can get into your work and you can say, right, call me ball, come on, I dare you.
Aye.
And see what they say. Welcome along, Stephen.
Aye.
I'm going to put you on the spot, buddy. We know about Rigger, we know about David. I'm going to ask you about yourself.
Well, my name's Stephen, obviously. Probably Rigger's probably spoke about me a lot, but partly sceptic about it and all that, you know. I like to try and be proven wrong, you know. Well, my normal job is a driving instructor.
I don't know how, because I've seen you driving.
So how did you get involved with Spig?
It was my other half. It's like kind of a post on Facebook. They were looking for a paranormal investigator. I've always wanted to do it, just to see what it's like, you know.
I think it's something that everybody wants to do. Well, maybe not everybody, but I think there's a lot of folk out there that want to do it, but don't know that they want to do it.
You need to have that passion.
See, my other half seen things run about the house and all that, and I've said to her, I've not seen anything. Do you know what I mean? So I want to see it for myself, you know.
I think you did at that location, Stephen.
Well, I heard that cough. Remember that video you were showing us?
That was mental. I think that was your third time out with us, wasn't it?
That's right, aye.
That's probably been the message that we've had since you've been out with us anyway. But that's what I was saying to Scott. Now you know about the 28th, which is a shame, but not to worry.
So, Stephen, you've done some investigation. So I've asked a few folk this. So if you think about how you thought, if you think about your mindset before you started investigating to what it is now, has it changed? No,
It's changed a wee bit. There's a few wee things that's got me. It's changed a wee bit. Aye, changed. Half and half.
Well, we're getting there.
Getting there.
Definitely.
That last location kind of got me a few times, you know.
Aye.
I bet.
The EVP thing.
There was an EVP that I can't remember what one it was. There was one it said David a few times or something.
Mm-hmm.
That was quite freaky, you know.
Aye.
Because I see, listen, EVPs, I can't make them out, but that one I can definitely make out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm the same
Maybe,
sort of
maybe
model.
next time we'll say Stephen.
Eh?
Stephen.
And then that'll totally convince you. But it's good to be. I mean, I'm still a bit sceptic. So the lasses, and the rest of the team. I think it's good to have that wee bit of skeptic in you.
Yeah.
Aye, we question things a lot, don't we, Rigger?
Aye.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
we'll question it.
Like they were like hearing voices and all that in the corridors and stuff like that. But sometimes I picked out that maybe it was the fan or something like that, the server or something. I don't know, but it was like a fan. But I'm not sure. But they were clear.
What made it good was the three is reacted at the same time. So that's what
the one
makes it
that
good.
gets me.
Aye, you all react at the same time, like with the cough or the grill, whatever it was.
I was actually thinking about that. See how we were all standing in the corridor?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was somebody just coming up behind us and going, like, coughing and saying, what he's doing here.
Because see when you watch it back, there is a stage when we were actually there. Me and you reacted at the same time, Stephen. But what was that? But it sounded distant. But then when you look back at the footage, it sounds as if it's like right at the phone. Like you would think it was one of us.
Aye. That's why I looked up to David. I thought it was one of yours.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Many of us.
Your music too.
Aye, you hear me? Aye, Nicola. Nicola's our moderator. She was with us a fortnight ago. But aye, I think I've spoken about Nicola before. Like, she was one of the competition winners. And we took her out, and then she get the feel for it, got a remix and that. So we took her out just to say cheers for working behind the scenes. But I think her mind was blown as well.
But see, that's the thing. Even more than one person hears it. Like the team with that gasp breath. I think it was five or 6 years, and they all heard it.
Aye.
So see when we were in the basement of Caldwell once, and Laura and I heard a kind of metal scraping.
Metallic scraping.
We were in one of the rooms in the.
I was guilty.
Were you there? You never heard it?
No, I never heard it.
Laura
Is
and I.
that the room with the wee kind of cupboard?
No, I was
Is you
sitting
gonna-
in that. I can't what you're talking.
Aye.
I was sitting in that cupboard doing my own vigil, and they were out in the corridor.
Yeah.
And we heard because they thought it was me moving in that cupboard, but I hadn't moved an inch.
Yeah.
It was not
See, but this, sorry for butting in here. I kind of get carried away a lot. But see, seeing the 28th, obviously, I think I mentioned that we've come up with kind of some kind of wee experiments like the Penda box and things like that. Is that something you would be willing to try on Saturday?
I was just be saying on Saturday, so we'll try enter as long as it's not
Basically, the Penda box is essentially the human's pendulum. I think I mentioned it, but I'll say it again. It's basically the human pendulum, but with the human pendulum, the person in the middle, they know when the questions have been asked, and they could then force themselves forward or backwards, but because they're hearing that and they're believing maybe they're getting pushed or whatever. So what we've done is the person in the middle will be blindfolded and they'll have earphones in, the necrophonic run their spirit box. That way they don't know what direction anybody's pointing, they don't know when it's been asked, the questions have been asked. We've had some good responses, like the person in the middle, we said like, go that way for yes, that way for no, and then went to the way for yes, and then they said yes. At the same time as going in the direction of yes, and then vice versa, no, they said no. Things like that, but it's quite a good experiment. We've not really done it lately, just obviously obvious reasons, try to build a team, but it is a good experiment. Like people we've collaborated with, we've got to try it, and all that. It's brilliant because all your perception is gone. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You don't know when anything's been asked. You're just standing in the middle, can't see, can't hear, and you're just relaxed, and then it goes from there. But it would definitely be something for you to try.
Oh, I'll definitely try it. I don't know about missing in the middle. She'll think about it. I'll definitely give it a go.
There is people that kind of they'll come up quick. I don't know if that's just due to maybe their senses gone or whatever, but we don't usually keep them on it too long. He's not yourself anyway, but there is people that pick it differently. Other people that just went, oh, that's amazing, you know what I mean? But aye. This ear defenders we put there as well, so all noise is gone, all noise is cancelled. You can't hear nothing.
I tried the human pendulum once, Alloway, and I was just standing there, you know, and I never felt, you know, back or forward or nothing.
It was weird because everybody else that done it that night did.
Aye, everybody else, you know, a lot of them was ex-team now. They were going back and forward. But I was just kind of standing there thinking, nothing's happening here.
I know there's teams that do it differently. There is teams that do it differently. I've with some teams that do it different. We done the human pendulum, and as I was saying, like the person in the middle knows when the questions have been asked, so it could just be their mind and they're believing that they're getting pushed or whatever because they're reacting to the question. But with being blindfolded in the earphones and the ear defenders with the necrophonic constantly in your ears, you don't know when anything's been asked at all. Nothing.
That's what we done with Kat the last time we were there. And she was there for 20 minutes, and she kept picking up on a young girl behind her to the left. I don't know if you've watched that investigation or no. Every time we go, we always pick up on a young girl.
Right.
So every second, never ever fails. And when Kat was doing the experiment, when she came out, she says, I kept getting this little girl, and she was playing with her hair. And Kat kept going, this is somebody kept pulling my hair, and it was a wee girl sitting beside
That
me.
must be that same spirit that came through to us and said, "Who's that?"
Huh?
Or who's there?
I wonder if that's the same spirit that
Yep, it sounded like a wee lassie.
popped round for the corner.
Which is
Is
weird
that
to
was
say.
that the kind of child type? See when it was popping round for the corner of the building?
Over
Yeah.
at a headstone is the shape of a cross. And we took a photograph. When was it?
Oh, it was way back.
One of the first times we were there.
One of the first times we were there.
Right.
And there was about 5 or 6 days there, and I was taking photo, and I looked at this photo on my phone, and you can see quite clearly a little girl peering out from behind this headstone of the shape of a Celtic cross.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's seen it.
It's going to be that same spirit.
Yeah.
But the weird thing was that when we looked back at the photograph, she was gone.
Wasn't there?
And we kept saying, did you see it? Say, have you seen the wee girl? Everybody said, but then she was gone. Now, I'm not saying it's paranormal. I'm just saying that everybody saw
What you
this young
seen?
girl. She's
Yeah.
maybe around about 10, 12 years old, something like that.
Oh,
You know, very young.
Well, when we were there, we done the flash of light, and we were saying, look, as if somebody was peering it for the corner. That was a bit child type. And then obviously when you'd mentioned with the photograph, I wonder if this is the same spirit.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that the probe light we've been able to capture it. I don't know.
Even when Merlin Wanny's seen it, then that tells you something. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't just one person.
I've got a photo. See when I first started Spig, I was out at Easter Castle, known as Goblin Hall, and I'll send it out to you. I took one single picture, the full investigation, just one single picture. It wasn't really an investigation. I was away down, took some equipment, me and one of my mates away down, and I took one single picture of the archway at the door, the exit door. And then when I came back, I looked at the photo and I was like, that looks like a skull. It just looked like a male. It was like a male skull, and they were kind of popping out for the doorway, the archway, but looking straight at the camera. Right, so I was like, I'm going to send that to my mate. But soon I sent it to my mate, he sent me back and he's like, that looks like a goblin, right? But then when I looked at it, it was a different picture. I know that sounds weird, right? Basically, the picture I took was a male skull, but yet when I sent it to my mate, the skull had changed. It looked like a goblin.
Mm-hmm.
It was weird, and I sent it to so many teams just about when I first started, just to get a wee bit of their input, and they were saying it was 2 pictures, and I says, look, I can print this picture off twice, and I can overlay it, and every leaf, every crack, everything will match up. The only thing that will be different is the face. It was just the one picture, but yeah, it changed for a male skull that looked like a goblin. Like you seen the kind of big overhang teeth coming up. It was so weird. It was so weird. I've still got it. I'll send it out to you. But I can have a look. But I was trying to tell them, bear in mind it's just the one picture. And they're like, no, that's 2 pictures because it's changed. And I says, it's the one picture. I don't know how it's changed. I don't know.
Dennis,
Look at that picture I had on my phone. Greyfriars at the bottom bit. Mind.
Oh, boy.
Aye.
We took hundreds of photos.
Mind, that picture showed up my phone. That tombstone at the bottom with the wee cherubim on it, and I had never even been doing that bit. 2 months later.
That photo you never took.
Aye.
Aye. At the bottom of Greyfriars there's a tombstone. It's got a cherub on it. That's right. Now, Sarah had never been down the bottom end of Greyfriars. It was always up the 2 men. You know, Mackenzie's 2 men. She'd been. But for some reason, a photograph of that headstone was on Sarah's phone. And I never took it because I've always got my phone. And, you know, Sarah's always got her phone and she goes anywhere. And I'd forgotten all about that. For some reason, this photograph showed up on her phone.
Aye, and then months
She'd
later,
never been.
when I did go down to the bottom bit, I took the picture as a day, and it was the exact same angle and everything as the picture that showed up a month before it.
Mm-hmm.
It was weird.
I seen a similar one, right? I know somebody, right? And this guy, he'd left his phone in the bedroom on the unit, and he went to his bed. He got up in the morning, and there was a photo of him lying in his bed on his phone. How do you explain that one? Honestly, he was lying in his bed, and it was his photo of his face.
No,
How do you explain that?
That's mental. There was, aye. Even just seeing that yourself, like, if it was me and I was like, what? I'd freak.
See, he had things happening in his flat, and he was convinced it was his ma that was coming through,
Mm.
and his house. But he done it one morning, got up to go to his work. And I mean, this guy, he's a well-educated guy,
Mm-hmm.
right? He works in the hospital A&E. He's a well-educated guy. See, I knew him. He wouldn't talk like that. He wouldn't tell you any lies like that. He was freaked out when he seen it.
No, I bet. That's mental.
It was crazy.
See, one of the weirdest ones I seen was actually a boy in my work had sent me it. And he went to, I can't remember the name of the prison. It's a big, massive prison in Australia. It's not a prison anymore. It's like a museum. You can go and walk about. You can take ghost tours or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he sent me this picture. And it was him. He took a picture through a keyhole. It was getting into a cell. And he showed me it, and I said, they've just got a figure there, or they've got a statue or something. That's because when you seen it, it looked like Dale looking at the keyhole back at him, right?
Mm.
I said, they've just put a picture there or something. He said, 2 minutes. He sent me another 2 for the same keyhole. The face had changed. So it was a guy and he was kind of looking out like this. And then when he showed me another one, the eye was right at the keyhole. And then when he showed me again, he was looking at the side. Yeah, it was weird. Aye, it was absolutely weird. But I was like, what? The same keyhole, why? And it changed. You know yourself, it was a full wee mannequin or something like that. It's going to stay in the same place.
It's going to remain the same. It's
then
that's spirit and all with tech. The weirdest things, one of the weirdest things that's happened to me is I went to Drossy Castle, Kilwinning Abbey, and then Eglinton Park. One day I was just doing it, and I filmed the 3 of them, and I came home and Drossy Castle, Eglinton Park were fine, but Kilwinning Abbey, never worked, didn't record, whatever. So I went back, I don't know, about a week later or something, I went back to go in at night time. And I just, I wasn't alive or nothing, I just took the same camera and I had done a wee walk around filming and it didn't work.
No, it worked, but when I went to upload the footage to the computer, it wasn't showing up as if, like, the footage wasn't showing up as if it was on the camera. Like, on the computer, I couldn't view the footage, but the minute I went back onto the camera, it was there.
Yeah.
It was as if, I don't know, it was dead weird.
Try to stop you.
Aye, it was just, it was as if when you went to put it onto the computer, it was as if someone didn't want you to view it. But then
Do
you
you
look
think-
at the camera and it would be totally fine.
Do you think, see how when Scott, you mentioned obviously spirits are 200-300-year-old, they're not going to know what technology is. Do you think over the years with so many people going with technology, they start to get used to it and they kind of understand it in a sense? And that's why that's happened with the camera.
Aye, well, that's actually a good thing. You ring it, aye, because you think, you know, the will
That's
that's
how
what
you
you were saying last night, you know, in your live about spirits knowing how to move, like to the ball, you know, and you know maybe a spirit's been over longer with more knowledge how how you move the ball than a new spirit would.
Aye.
It was go on and happy Dennis.
I was asking when.
When? Can I ask when?
Oh, it was way back last year.
I was okay. It was way last year.
What was the other thing that happened at Conan that was weird? Oh, the day we went doing during the summer. And it wasn't even it was a nice day, right? But it wasn't like, the sun wasn't that bright to obscure pictures. And I was going about, because I always do that, when I go to a location, I'll take hundreds of pictures. And when I came home, I was looking at the pictures, and they looked like really, really like bright, and you could hardly make anything out. But it wasn't that bright inside.
Oh, yeah, but the wrong time there. This is going to stroll.
You alright?
What was that? I like just for it.
The ghost?
Is my new light tape there? Will be faulty.
Oh,
Do you know that's sitting? Do you know that's still sitting at 100? Full battery.
that's good.
Swear to God, best buy a boat by the way. See if I want a light, Scott, let us know and I'll send you the one I got off Amazon.
I'd work a new one here. See if you'll be that way.
No, I like that.
Oh, I like see, that's the other thing. Batteries now. I mean, I know a lot of people laugh at the paranormal, says all the crap and all the rest of it, but battery drain seems to be one of the biggest things that happens on investigations. What do you think?
Yeah.
You know, and it's
Draining.
happened to one or two teams. It happens to
Everybody.
just about
Loads.
everybody.
At some point, something gets drained.
Mm-hmm.
I think the weirdest thing with batteries that we've ever had is when we done Ivy House. Scott had been doing this there, checked the cameras, and they were off. So he changed all the batteries, came up the stairs, got me. I went down, and they were drained again. And I thought, right, that's a bit weird. And it wasn't just like one camera; it was all 4 cameras this happened to. And then I says to Scott, "Oh, I don't know what we're going to do. We need to change the batteries again." And the camera came back on. I never even touched it. It came back on, started recording. The camera came back on, started recording again on the scene, and then 2 seconds later it was totally flat again. I was like, what?
Yeah,
That was strange.
definitely.
Oh no, that's the one that's true.
What's he doing, Nicole?
Fixing his life.
I don't
You
know.
need to bear with me on that, by the way. I need to go and get my cable.
Is that the one you're going to recommend to me?
He's trying to get rid of his own. He's got to sell it to you.
Oh, what? 2 seconds.
I'll tell you, that's like take up advertising. I reckon I am going to run out by that. I'm going to say there, or the police station there, and the radio was interfering with TVs and radios in their homes, so ended up shutting the office down and moved them to Saltcoats. This was, I'm trying to think now, Dennis,
It
when
was last year. It was well after the police station shut because I know where the police station was, but I thought it was.
I don't know where the police station was around it there, so I don't know, but used to was after it.
Yeah.
But it's a good, thanks for the comment. But the switching off, guy will get rigger.
I can.
Right.
I'll get it. I'll get it. 2 seconds.
See the light in his face.
Did you see the glasses?
There's me big in this body light up.
It actually shows you what he thinks of us if he's going to recommend that light to us.
Hey.
Right, Bill. Oh boy.
I don't get the light shite.
I don't want to send him with the light then because you'll get it right back.
No, it is a really good light. UV light and all that on it. No, it is really good.
I can see that.
Was.
It was really good.
It was really good. Get back to what you were saying about, I know maybe a 2-3-year-old spirit can learn how to turn, cameras off and what have you, and then David's saying about nobody want to be seen. And that's weird because see when we did see that footage I sent you last night, Trigger, that investigation, we had a locked off camera. You can actually see the legs of the tripod. We had a locked off camera sitting in the corner, and I switched it on at the start of it, and nobody touched it, nobody left it running. And then the following day, I was looking back at the footage, and it switched off after about 6.5 minutes. The camera.
Yeah.
It used to be switched on. I said, well, I've got 6.5 minutes of footage. And then I thought to myself, wait a minute, it was running about. Who's that?
I'll leave it to Craig or you.
Nice to see it's not Scott having the problems this time. That'll be Craig, that's Laura's man. I started to think it was right around about that time we started getting activity on the queue and the voices coming through. So was that coincidence, or was that whatever spirit was there saying, right, I don't want to be seen on camera or whatever, and so I'm just going to turn this bugger off.
But it happens quite a lot to us though. The cameras will work.
Had that before.
The minute the stuff starts to kick off, the cameras all shut down, and I'm not just talking about one camera. I'm talking about cameras, and they're like all different makes of cameras. So it's not as if it's like a faulty camera or faulty batteries. It's 4 different cameras just all at the same time.
We had the kind of similar thing at a private location, and David, it was your import get drained right in front of us. We changed the batteries for
Brand new battery. It happened within 5 minutes or something after it again.
I brought mines in to sit next to David's. 2 of them get drained. Replaced the batteries, 2 of them get drained again. All the K2s were fully spiked right up, and they just drained.
It was mental.
It's wee things. The Ivy House, the only capsule we got was actually, I put a locked off camera in one of the bottom rooms, and the lights we've got, it's the square lights, and they screw onto the top of the camera.
Yeah.
And so we let it run. And to turn these lights on and off, it's a wee circle, the wee knobs are saying you need to turn it to click it off. The camera picked up footsteps. Now, the footsteps sounded like wooden heels.
Yeah.
Everybody was up the stairs. They sounded like wooden heels, and then we get maybe 2 seconds of sounds like a young child, and then the light goes off. The light just dims down and goes off. But the weird thing is, the camera doesn't move. If you know the lights I'm talking about, you know if when you turn it off, the camera's going to
Aye.
it did not move, but the light dimmed and went off.
It didn't dim and go off.
It
It
did.
went across and went off.
Do you know dim?
No. If you actually watch it, remember, it goes across. It's as if somebody came in with a torch,
Torch, and it goes like that.
goes like that, and
That's
then
right.
turns the light off.
I'll need to look back at that. I thought it dimmed.
No.
You're right, torch.
But as I say, it was weird because the camera never moved, and we heard quite clearly the footsteps, and it sounded like a wee girl. And there is reports of a wee girl being there.
Well, I heard that chap in the cupboard.
That's
Mind.
Dennis? Right, Dennis? See, just for that comment with Dennis, he was my highlight last night. Usually they'll be kind of highlight out of 10, and he was mine because obviously David knows that location very well that we were at, and he told us about a portal, and it was just me and Stephen, and we went live. Dennis mentioned she does a portal up there, and I think he said it was about 12 metres away.
Yeah, something like that.
Straight to where the portal was, where this alleged portal was, I think.
Yep.
Dennis is really good, man. He's bang on with the lives, isn't he? All the time.
Yeah.
All the time, man. He's brilliant, but just when he mentioned the portal, now, out of everything, and we never mentioned it on live or nothing before it.
No, you didn't.
Out of everything that he could have come up with, go bang on straight where that portal was, and he said it was right through the doorway, about 12 metres, I think he said it was, or 20 metres up the hallway, and that's exactly where it is.
Even the one with the red, he mentioned the red coat,
Red coat. Yep.
and I verified that because I know a bit about that.
Mm-hmm. But he's and he blows your mind over the phone. So we keep saying we'll get him out, because also if we can do that over the phone, it'll be interesting to see if we can actually do it in person. We can pick up on
That would be good to get him out. And so Dennis, get out with him, buddy. And,
He knows he's more than welcome.
keep saying he's got to come out there. He says he doesn't. I think he's just scared. Dennis, he's scared.
I think there's a wee bit of people in there that don't know. Just just that tiny wee bit of bait. Hey Robbie, we're all doing good. That's his reply there, Rigger, for you.
Oh, in fact, I'm sure he said something about he saw something he was going to make dinner or phone dinner or something. I'm sure that's what he did.
He's making dinner for you though.
Aye. Sure, I asked him. I says to him, I'll come out if he gets his a king kebab.
You don't need to do that with Rigger.
I'm looking forward to Saturday. I want to put a camera up at that back path and just leave it.
Right.
Running
Interesting.
a cat ball or something doing.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's got to be wildlife, so something, maybe I don't know, a squirrel, whatever could touch the ball. But if it does, the camera
Why
will catch
don't
it.
we, Scott? Why don't we do what we said? Why don't you put a glass over it?
I would take a glass, aye.
And then you know that no wildlife's going to touch it.
I would go do that, and then we'll just put a glass over it. What's it look for?
Never seen a squirrel there.
I'm not saying it might not be a squirrel, it could be a rabbit or a horse or a cow or I don't know, a cat.
A sheep.
A sheep.
No.
The list is endless. You're in the middle of farmland, so it could be anything.
Me and sheep don't have a loving relationship.
Oh no, don't tell the sheep story, please.
No.
You like to tell the sheep story?
No, I'm a bit better with sheep now. I can drive by them in a field without, but I can't still go in a field without.
Sarah camped out one night years ago, and for some reason the front door was open, and she woke up one morning. She woke up in the morning, and there was a sheep in the tent.
Do you really want to go there?
It was
That's-
like there I was petrified.
No problem, Dennis. As I said, we're always available when you are. I think Saturday will be good. Definitely. Also, we've chatted now a couple of times. It'll be good to actually meet in person and work along beside each other. It'll be good. I've been to this location a few times.
Interesting.
So again, Liz and Jan, they're coming along. They've not been. So it'll be interesting to see what they pick up on as well. Again, I checked the weather. The weather's to be fine, but you know yourself that can change in the flip of a coin.
I don't- yeah, what's up?
I'll still have a long John's on, but even if it's sunny.
I'll fix my eyebrows, I promise. It's just Sarah's just pointed it. I mean, I'll be honest because we're going to do it on a.
Sorry. It's like two slugs.
See, this is the Addy put up with us all the time. With these two, she lives about 5 minutes away. Was this the far enough? Do you know what I mean? 5 hours would be all right.
I bet you had her before you met them.
I did.
You were bloody lying. It was fault when I met you.
Shh. I spoke about
Proper eyebrows.
that. You know, I'm actually just 23. You would think it. So I spoke to Kat earlier on the day. We're going to do just like this as a StreamYard panel.
Yeah.
And what was interesting about Kat was she was picking up and stuff. So that's the other reason why Kat Will and us came up with the idea. It'd be interested to see to get back and see if she picks up anything, you know, on the panel.
Aye.
Control it.
Definitely.
I see be controlling it.
Yes, then I don't
And-
get involved.
The good thing, the signal's quite good down there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, we never had any bother with the signal. There's I don't know, you need to see the guys here.
Dennis, if you want to come along on Saturday, you can.
Any Saturday.
You're totally welcome to come, buddy.
We
saying
tried it when we started. We never really went live, but we started going live. But we thought, which is still a good idea. We used to set up like a static, so we'd do the live, but split it so it would be two. One would be the static, so the viewers can watch that, and then one would be us. But the because you were doing two of them, the signal was shite. It was all kind of pixelated. But I think we spoke about StreamYard as well. I don't know how it got with that, but that was a good idea that we come up with. Just basically that way, because some people like just enjoying just sitting watching a camera, like when nothing's going on, because you don't know what you're going to see. Like we do it now. Like we'll go out and take like 10 or come away from investigation for maybe 10, 15 minute break or whatever, and we'll just leave the camera running.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people don't. No, they don't like it, but they're just like, I'm sitting watching trees, or I'm not sitting watching a wall, or whatever. But you don't know, like anything can happen. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You know, they are fancy. You know, for the folk they sit there and watch. We usually could be watching a tree, a wall. They're watching what we're watching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's still the reason I like doing the lives on investigation is because you're involving people. You know, it's as if they're part of the investigation. You know, and so they're seeing or hearing, whatever we might get at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, I caught and stuff.
You know,
Exactly.
Just take the time to come out and watch it.
and they'll pick up the balls. They might pick up
Something you
on
missed.
bits and pieces that we've missed. And so it can involve people as well. So we always use locked off cameras, and we just leave them running. You know,
What was interesting, we done it at the location on Saturday. We left it running, and we just left David's EVP on the table. We went out for a wee 15-minute break, wee bit of fresh air, and we just left it run. Came back, listen to EVP, but I was reading through this, and Dennis said there's like a child that keeps popping in for the pillar.
Mhm.
But then with that footage I showed last night, which looks like an anomaly, an orb of some sort that came towards the camera from the pillar, but that could maybe validate what he's seen. Because it came from that pillar that he said he's seen a kid.
Yeah.
And he would never have said that if he never left it running. So it does help.
Yeah, there you go.
But no, leaving the camera running is, I think it's a great idea. And, again, I'll use the Ivy House as an example. We left the camera running down the stairs and we were up the stairs. And none of us heard the footsteps in that room down the stairs,
No.
Yeah.
or the light moving enough. So we would keep down the stairs and be none the wiser. Whereas something did happen down the stairs when none of us were there. So it can be high, it can be good just setting up cameras and letting them run. Okay, I granted it can be boring sitting watching maybe 3 or 4 hours of footage back and the hope that it's going to be there, like so on a Sunday afternoon you're sitting there for 4 or 5 hours watching nothing basically. But you never know.
It's just your luck, innit?
That's it.
I've always said it's with fishing. I don't fish, but in a way it's with fishing. You can sit there for hours and hopefully get a bite.
That's it. The more stuff you've got running, but it's got the more chance you're going to get something.
Aye, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. But I think we'll call it a night there. That's us over the hour mark. Before we go, you want to plug your group and where folk can find you?
So, Scotland's Paranormal Investigation Group, you'll find us on Facebook. We've also got the Paranormal Hangover, which is a Facebook group as well, where we'll discuss, update, and whatnot. We'll go live usually most Saturdays on our private group. But I feel free to come along and join. Again, anybody that's watching or whatever, get in touch if you want to come out one night. We'll take you out. That's no any hassle. Dennis, if you're still on, you want to come in Saturday, come in Saturday. We've also got Paranormal Radio podcast this Friday as well. So again, jump on, watch that or whatever. And we're at using the 28th. So
we're also on Instagram and TikTok.
Yep. I keep forgetting about Instagram, TikTok, do you know that? Nicola's going to kill me, isn't she?
Aye.
I mean, sometimes you do forget, I forget we go in the Parapost network and, and I've remembered that a couple of times, but other times you come after the live, you say, I never mentioned the Parapost network, or I never mentioned TikTok. You do forget it, time.
Aye.
Where are we? We're back on Thursday night with Karen Free and on Hunter. Robbie's back comment up, folks.
Yep, very true, Robbie. Very true. Memories.
That sounds quite painful.
I can just tell by Nicola's comment, LOL there, she's like, LOL, forgetting TikTok.
Don't forget that. I guess I've got the next few weekends.
You're not for the money, folks.
Plenty of bananas then, Dennis.
I know. This will be the next thing. No, everybody.
I think it will. I think we're going to go into lockdown.
Everybody that has gone up, the recover. Do you know what I mean?
You'll be getting a course of bananas off the doctor.
I isolate for 23 weeks or something. Bananas.
I'll be that banana amoxicillin a bit.
Sorry for those the people that have got it, obviously. They hope they recover. Anyway, we'll wind up this. We're back Thursday, but I'm on tomorrow night at 6 o'clock your time with Paranormal Consultant on Matt Barron's channel, which you can find on YouTube. I think he's on Facebook as well. So we were just having a wee live just to say hello. And then we're out on, I don't think we get anything Friday. No, nothing Friday. And we're out on.
You've got live on Friday.
Well, I've got live on Friday with somebody. I can't mind too. See, you lose track, didn't you?
Aye. Aye.
Oh, I'll tell you, right.
That's shocking. You sent us the monthly planner thing.
I
Of
know,
all
two
the people that
seconds,
are so
folks.
wee bit they forgetting, you've just
2
forgotten.
seconds, I'll tell you.
Hey,
Sorry.
Dennis. Night, Dennis.
I said,
Yeah,
Deanna,
then-
oh, thanks very much, Robbie. So, aye, tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, Mark Barron. Thursday night, Von Hunter and Karen
Right.
Day. Friday, I will be a medium, and then Saturday night, we're with the guys. And we're not telling you where we're going, we're just going to
No.
pop up. Hopefully, it should be about 9 o'clock, 9 p.m., and we're just going to pop up. So, thanks everybody that's tuned in, and I hope you enjoyed the video.
Yeah.
Thanks to Rigger, David, and Stephen. I'll hold on to you guys for a wee second or two.
Yep.
Sure.
Thanks for having us
Good
on.
night, everybody.
Not a problem. So we'll say good night and take care for now, folks. And we'll see you all.
Good night, guys. Night.
Bye. Bye.
Bye bye.